welcome back to my channel. My name is Janet, and if you're new here, I lost over 100 pounds following the ketogenic diet. On my channel, you will find a variety of videos, including what I eat on keto, some keto recipes, and as well some protein sparing modified fast recipes. And as well, lately I have been kind of diving into the mental health aspect of weight loss in general, kind of like the whole process of weight gain, weight loss, and dealing with the mental aspects that we encounter. And that is kind of like an ongoing struggle for those who are on a weight loss journey. So if that's something that you're interested in, then keep on watching. All right, hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to share today's video with you, and it is once again tapping into kind of a discussion on food addiction is actually going to be the topic today. And as always, this is from my experience only. I am not a doctor. I am not a licensed physician, nurse, nothing of that sort. I just mainly share my feelings and thoughts that I have experienced in the last 25 years of struggling with my weight. And you know, it's a lot, and it's a long journey. It's a lifetime journey that we go through. And I feel like kind of talking about these topics makes you feel like you're not alone. And I'm so glad that I've had such a positive response to these videos, because it's really hard to share, first of all, your story in general, and you know, the story of me losing, and then I gain 15 pounds, and then I lose it, and then I gain it, and it's really hard to put it out there into the YouTube world to discuss those intimate feelings, numbers, and you know, everything that is kind of going through my head mentally, and whether it be good or bad. You know, it's kind of a vulnerable position. I know, obviously, that is why I started my YouTube channel, is to share what I have learned through my journey, and obviously sharing my favorite keto recipes and what got me to lose 100 pounds. But in the grand scheme of things, it is not all butterflies and rainbows. And I'm sure a lot of you can contest to that. And the whole thing is that everybody is on their own individual journey. And everybody's is different. Every single one of our journey is different. And you know, that's kind of what I want to talk about, and how my feelings were affected through weight loss and the struggle with mental food addiction, right? So food addiction is real. First of all, let's go over what is food addiction. And food addiction is a variety of things, and this is just information that I found on the website and compiled information, and you are free to look up your own information and get your intake on what a food addiction really is. But a lot of these resonated, if not all, resonated with me to realize that I am a food addict, and it is something that I will struggle with for the rest of my life. I have come to terms with that. It's very hard pill to swallow, but I have to realize that. You know what I mean? You have to take ownership of it and realize and how to fix it, and kind of use the tools in order for you to be successful. It's just like any other addict. You know what? You will have things thrown your way throughout your whole entire lifetime, and you need to know how to deal with those events. Let's put it that way. So first of all, a food addict, I'm going to read off the information that I found on the website. Frequent cravings for certain food despite feeling full and just having finished a nutritious meal. Number one, that is definitely something that I fight almost on a daily basis. I have food cravings every single day, and I still manage to lose over 100 pounds, but it's definitely a demon that I fight every day. Number 2 point is starting to eat a craved food and often eating much more than intended. So this goes back to binge eating, where, you know, I can't just have one cookie. So if I crave a cookie or a donut, I cannot have just one. You know, my mind is not set up that way. And that's like an alcoholic, you know, just one drink won't hurt you. It's the same sort of thing with myself. I cannot just have one cookie or one chip or one fry. It just does not happen for me. Next point is eating a craved food and sometimes eating to the point of being excessively stuffed. So definitely, you know, we've all been there. I think before we started our weight loss journey is, for me anyways, I would eat till I was excessively full, on the verge of getting sick. I was so full because that food tasted so good. I can't explain it any other way other than how a drug addict maybe feels when they have a drug. It is addictive. It is so addictive. And when it is that certain holiday of the year, whether it be Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, whatever holiday that you're celebrating, that was kind of my excuse to stuff myself. And I mean, eat everything, have it because I knew that I wouldn't be having it again. And it's just really, really a mental aspect, and that triggers it. And once you start, you almost can't stop. So that is definitely a lot of them. Another thing that I want to mention is you often feel guilty about overeating or eating something that you shouldn't. And 100%, that is me. And you know, that's a lot of things I'm sure that you go through, is the self-hate that we talk to ourselves. And how could you eat that much? Why did you do that to yourself? Why did you mess up your whole entire diet for that one, you know, food group, or those donuts? Why did you do that to yourself? Oh, I hate myself so much. All of these things have gone through my mind. And I'm guessing most of you have experienced that as well. And that is part of being a food addict. It is 100% being, you know, owned by food almost, right? You have no other way and no other willpower, you know, to fight the food, certain foods, especially those that trigger you. So, you know, I think a lot of us hate to admit it that we're an addict, because myself, my dad was an alcoholic. Jimmy was an addict prior to us meeting. He was addicted to pills, and we might go over that in a video one time. But, you know, I have had a lot of addicts around me in the sense of drug addicts and alcoholics. And I've always considered myself grateful that I have not fought that demon and had to deal with that every day, and how hard it must be to overcome that addiction and that drug or alcohol and that temptation when something in your life goes wrong and you actually have to deal with your feelings. And I realized, you know what? That food does that to me. I am an addict with food. I turn to food when something traumatic happens in my life or takes a big change. I turn to food. However I'm feeling, I turn to food. You know, Jimmy and I talk about this quite often, a lot, and because I'm always just curious, you know, go figure. I'm an addict myself, and I'm curious how addiction works. But I'm always curious to find out, you know, the mental aspects of addiction with drugs. And, you know, he had said that addicts are great manipulators. And this is just a conversation that we've had between us. You know, you can take it as you will. This is the experience that Jimmy has had. And he said, you know what, they're great manipulators, because they will always be up for a drink. If you're happy, you're sad, you get fired, you get a new job, you're sick, you're healthy, any excuse to drink or to do drugs. And I thought about that, and I was like, wow, I'm like, that's crazy. Like, to think that, you know, you're addicted to something like that, that you would just use any excuse to drink or do drugs. technically. And then I thought about myself. Even though it is a completely different addiction, but that is my relationship to food, unfortunately. And, you know, to say that I'm a manipulator, you know what? Maybe in some ways I have been. You know, as much as Jimmy and the girls try to keep me on track and they'll say, boy, that's not keto. Well, you know what? Just leave me be, because I want to celebrate this. I want to celebrate this time in my life that I quit my job, I retired, I got a new job, whatever it is in my life. You know what? Let me just have this moment and let me enjoy this meal. It's almost the exact same story, you know, that Jimmy just explained to me in regards to addiction. So, you know, even though it is different, it is the same. And I think we have to recognize that, which a lot of us do not, because like I just mentioned, I was so grateful that I didn't have an addiction. I was surrounded by addicts and the struggles that they go through, and their families being torn apart. They're losing money. They're going through all of these things. And you know what? Their drug, their alcohol is number one before anything. Their family, their job, their home, everything is more important than those things. Their drug. And it really got me to think, you know what, food is kind of like the same feelings that I have towards it. You know, yes, luckily I can't, you know, lose my home and lose my job because of my eating addiction and my food addiction, but it's kind of has so many similar aspects to kind of absorb and to take in. How do we fix our food addiction? I'll be honest, I'm still learning that. And as many times throughout my weight loss journey, pretty much since I started keto, there has been a few points during the last 2 or 3 years that I have been doing keto that I thought I had it under control, that I thought I have nipped it in the butt, so to say. And to think, I feel like I'm cured now. I really feel like I'm cured. I don't see food as a temptation. I can go to certain functions without diving into that piece of cake and concentrating on the cake when we're at a big celebration of a retirement party or a 80th birthday party or whatever the case is. But I'm not. And I don't know if I'll ever be, but I'm also going to give you some suggestions on how maybe you can learn to live with your food addiction in this video. So one of the first things that I suggest is to figure out your trigger foods. And, you know, write a list. Get your pen and paper and make a list of your trigger food. Things that you know that you cannot stop. I have a few things on that list that I know, having one, I would eat the whole box. A great example is wheat thins. I don't know why, but it's one of those things I cannot even have in my house, even if Jimmy or Zoe loves it. No bueno. No bueno. I cannot even purchase it and bring it in the home. I will literally eat that whole box of wheat thins. Weird thing, I know. So there's a lot of things to take into consideration with that, because I am the only one that eats keto in my family and the food addict in my family. Jimmy and Zoe, you know, don't follow any sort of diet. And so they do have their snacks, their meals, their foods that contain carbs. But I also say to them, and they respect that I cannot have certain things in this house. You know, I'm okay with ice cream. Ice cream doesn't bother me. I cannot have those pastries that you buy from the bakery that are usually filled with like fruit sort of things. Like they're like a strudel, apple strudel, cherry strudel. I cannot have those in the house. I will literally eat the whole thing of them. There's 6 of them usually in a package. I will eat all of them. So figure out what foods trigger you and write them down and acknowledge them. Step number 1. Step number 2 is learning to make meals at home, or to be prepared if you are, you know, working outside of the home, you're on a holiday, or things of that nature. Figure out what fast food places provide healthy meals. So being on keto, it's really, really hard to find places that have keto approved meals, but you know, there's certain places that I love. Five Guy Burgers, they make hands down the best burger ever. It is lettuce wrapped. It is so good. Highly recommend that as an option. Wendy's has fabulous salads. You can also get their burgers lettuce wrapped. Everywhere pretty much is catered to celiacs. So if you asked for something lettuce wrapped, they don't usually look at you like you have two heads. Like, it's a normal thing. I never have had a problem when I've ordered that at a restaurant. So just kind of being cautious of where you can order keto-friendly foods that will keep you on plan and that there won't be any temptations. Now, if you love McDonald's fries and your whole family is going to McDonald's and that's a trigger for you, no, you need to find somewhere else to go. That's my opinion, and that's how I would deal with it. McDonald's fries, don't get me wrong, they're really good, but they're not a trigger for me. But you know what? My family would respect me enough to go somewhere else to get something. They really would, and I hope your family would do the same for you. And, you know, so just keep in mind those sort of things. I would highly recommend kind of figuring out fast food, or if you're going to be away from the home for a whole 8-hour day, in order to be prepared so that you don't go off plan and get those trigger foods. And I also recommend making a list of foods that you enjoy. Foods that you really enjoy that are keto friendly, keto approved, non-triggers that you really enjoy. And make that every week. You know, like I said, I always like things on a repetitive basis. I have no problems dealing with foods on repeat, meals on repeat, but that's what I do. Things that I enjoy on keto. I enjoy bacon, cheese, the burgers. I enjoy those things. Like, those are probably one of my favorites. I love bacon. So guess what? Bacon is always going to be in my fridge. I like it as a snack. I love pizza. There's various ways that you can make a good keto approved pizza. You know what? Be prepared for your own self at home. Don't just think about the families and what their needs are. You need to think about yourself as well. Let's not worry about the family. You need to put yourself first before your family, you know, can be healthy and happy as well too. You need to put yourself first. I enjoy doing videos like this. It really helps me therapeutically to get through my mental health with food, because that is really my only struggle that I have. And like I said, I feel like it's going to be an ongoing struggle, and talking about this and sharing my feelings and my thoughts help me in return. So I hope it helps some of you as well. I hope you really take in some of the suggestions that I have here to give. I would love to hear your thoughts below as well too. I always love hearing how you are liking these videos and seeing if there's a lot of people that resonate with what I'm saying in these type of videos. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure you hit that red subscribe button. Give this video a like to let me know that you're liking my content, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so YouTube can notify you when I upload a new video. Thanks for watching.